the results are limitless, so they're limitless results. Now here, this explanation is from the point of view of the specific object of one's generosity. With regard to a specific object, there is a specific result. However, without even considering a specific object, something that one gives toward or gives to, if one has love, compassion, in particular great love, or great compassion, if one has great compassion, then the result will be limitless. Now this is difficult to believe really, and in particular usually when I have like 100 rupees, well if I spend it just for myself, well the moment I spend it, it's gone. But then of course there's the difficulty, I cannot give away everything, I need something for myself, so I have to have some I need to be able to have some money, I need to be able to spend it in order for my own benefit, but then again it's totally lost. Whereas really like if I gave it instead to a sick person, that's a bit like giving it to the bank, you get like thousands of rupees back. Actually in actuality that is beneficial. So it's basically out of desperation if you like, because we need to spend it towards ourselves. If we don't do that, then we would get into trouble. So this means, therefore, we generate this attitude, may I do whatever I do, even though I feed myself, I spend money for myself, but may I do it for the benefit of all sentient beings. So one generates that attitude, then one's practice becomes, one accumulates limitless merit, one has a limitless benefit from that, one is able to reap limitless benefit from that, and this is why from the depth of one's heart, one therefore generates that kind of attitude, to use this money, to use whatever one does for the benefit of all sentient beings.
다 남기 초딩이 돈이 기지시에디 남기 초딩이라는 타기 넘버 꾼 추상의 터네 아니 돈이 또대 다디니 되게 다 조조다 유진의 잡으러 싫어들 다 디지도 전에 엔티를 남기 초딩이 돈이 되게 사당복이 또대 아니 태명이 또대들아 남기 초딩이 돈이 되고 말 돈이 지거래 다 이내 그 타기 넘버 매비 돈이 바이 장과 도용 되서는 너무 초등이 동의도 비셔서고 말해 지금다 아니 티진백이 디 무슨도 또 돼야 되는 너무 초등이 동문이 또 비셔서고
So here no, I don't know how to translate this. Anyway, this is a kind of emptiness here given that you described. Which is I don't know how to translate this. Anyway, so it's a kind of emptiness here Geshe-la describes that you do not find in the Hinayana practitioner. So a Theravada or Hinayana practitioner does not have the same type of wish to benefit others. So the method, because of the method kind of aspect not being the same, so therefore this kind of Namgyu Chodungi Dani or Namgyu Chodungi emptiness, that kind of emptiness cannot be found because of the method aspect is missing. So this basically indicates that the wisdom realizes emptiness in the continuum of the Mahayana person because of the conjoinment, because of being conjoined with a special method, with a special aspiration to the benefit of others. It's a different kind of emptiness here. It's a different kind of, the emptiness is different. The mind that takes to mind that emptiness is different because of the being conjoined with the special kind of method.
生为奥本的正德的空性，就不是具一切种最深空性，只有在大乘菩萨、大乘圣者菩萨心绪当中所证得的那种空性，才叫做具一切种最深空性。
但定能心色主的人的多一个多年的明日日有人，第七对在呢，希罗的了他大大这个多，他多年的明大一的开始是，能够确定多年是明的多年的大了。多年没找我要嘛是吧？天明多的，证据适当的多的，生意多的，多年没找我要嘛的是呢？超级的现在没找我要嘛的，超级的现在也没找我去约不去。可是呢，多年没说都比写了的，写了着的，俺嘛同学写了着的地了，但俺嘛同学同学去，俺嘛同学地了是有讲的，这个作业没呢，俺嘛同学这个去查着了，写了着的。
So therefore, with respect to the emptiness called Choden-Gidoni, so that kind of emptiness here is the emptiness that you initially realize. The name given is the emptiness you initially realize. So this type of emptiness is only found in the Mahayana, in the continuum of the Mahayana practitioner because of the being conjoined with a special method. But then also with regard to the emptiness that is realized on the 10th round, also that emptiness has a different name. So there's a different emptiness on each of the levels, like the Bodhisattva, for example, on each different level, a different emptiness, there's a different name given to emptiness. Now actually one should think that why would you actually give a different name to emptiness, because emptiness is always the same. One may have that thought that emptiness is always the same, so why give different names to the emptiness itself? So from one perspective it doesn't seem to make sense, because emptiness is always the same. But from another perspective it does make sense. From another position, when one takes it from a different position, it does make sense. Why? Because the experience of emptiness is always slightly different. In particular, when you realize emptiness directly, there's a very clear perception of emptiness. So the kind of the way it appears to the mind, the clarity differs. And then also step by step, the clarity kind of, when it becomes closer to that direct realization of emptiness, when emptiness appears clearer and clearer. So in that sense, it becomes clearer and clearer by way of its appearance, so we can speak of different names of emptiness according to the person who takes that emptiness to mind.
Musum to chanata siru karikawores. Eshi. Indi lendila. Musum to ne siru trayere, musmi ton chigori di yan limit out to us. What the sons. Chezan di mi amayin su pege mi tonda tonga ne siru shira mindula mi me luro. Amji saltun mi me ludo. Chizu hashi ringa 닝지무 됐어다. 남질이 서로 쉬어 토디 남질이 닝지무 토고 있어로. 어디서로지 가제 베디디 소르다 킹.
So Geshe-la once asked the late director of the IBD, Geshe-la Genro-Zangetsu, so he once asked him, well, it makes sense that before one realizes emptiness directly, that the appearance of emptiness becomes clearer and clearer, that it appears more and more clearly. However, after one has realized emptiness directly, how could emptiness actually become clearer and clearer? So that explanation is also given that emptiness after has been realized directly, that on the different levels that it appears clearer and clearer. And the response that Genro Zangetsu gave was, well, like anything, when you look at it initially, it is not that clear, but then it becomes clearer and clearer. The more you focus on it, the clearer it appears to you. And Geshe also gave another example of his own mother, who has some problems with her eyes. So she can see, but she doesn't see very clearly. And so once she's gone to the doctor, and the doctor gave her some eye drops, and as a result of these eye drops, she said everything is so beautiful. Everything she looked around and was saying that everything is so much more beautiful than usual. So therefore, even though she saw things clearly before, but it became even clearer. So as in like in that example. So this is like the example for that same.
And do
the translator from the library, is she here? She's not here?
Yeah, I don't know. Is
there more questions? One more question. We'll take one more.
今天老师讲那个以比量证空性那边，老师有讲到说它会有两个对境，一个是就是说它会有法的显现的，还有另外一个就是一个是假声音，一个是真的声音，那个部分我不太确定这边的意思是什么，是说 它都是直接进吗？还是直接间接的问题？还是老师指这两个都是它的直接进？可是如果两个都是直接进的话，我有点没有办法想象，所以请老师再解释一下。
你给解巴给东西都被告诉语义有人解巴给东西都被告诉语义就是耶瓦起来有人你多多现在记团堂大巴瓦记团堂听一个多多听得来你定义给耶瓦做的语乐组以内一个啦耶瓦的切的这个看这对不对
The question the ladies asked was from the point of view of the inferential cognizer. So speaking of the inferential cognizer, as Geshe-la mentioned earlier, the inferential cognizer, the way Geshe-la described, it has two objects. One is emptiness, one is actual emptiness, and one is not actual emptiness. So one is authentic emptiness, and one is not authentic emptiness. Are those two both the direct objects of that inferential cognizer?
다다 무슈 계제다 말해. 네가 무유 샤오지래.
So we're not differentiating here between direct or, to use another word, explicit. Are both these objects the explicit objects? And Geshe-la is saying there's no differentiation here between an explicit or an implicit object.
지다 저는 다다 도대바다 두저기 아니 본심이 시기 본바디 무스도 본바 임바디 슈르도 다 단위 잘 생긴다 자기 기르지 본바 임바디 슈르도 자기 왔다 다 디나 신기지시나 아니 리타리디 기제디 스투스 키르나 엔 토노 버지만은 다녀샤이시 무슨도 더 용디 된주 가정디 무스도 데미 임바디 슈르도 라고 멘데 자기 왔다 이내 남지 용달을 토노 버지만은 또는 돈이 잡시리고
So therefore Geshe-la is saying there's no difference between explicit and implicit, but from the sutric system, from the sutric school's point of view, for example, when we talk about an eye consciousness perceiving a vase, so the vase is explicitly perceived by that eye consciousness, but implicitly is being vase is perceived implicitly. Explicitly one perceives vase, and implicitly one perceives being a vase. So if that's the case, if that eye consciousness explicitly perceives vase, but implicitly perceives being a vase, well, that would therefore, one could argue, therefore, that a meditative effort was directly realizing emptiness. Well, explicitly it realizes emptiness, and implicitly it realizes being emptiness. However, that of course wouldn't make sense because the object of the meditative effort can only be emptiness, whereas being emptiness is not emptiness itself. So that would.
见到无间道是现证无历史的这个部分应该是没有什么疑惑。
这当这些的之前的书了，这个人的自己等等来了，他代表了不把的绝对没法儿，因为不把绝要了，不把一把的绝对的不把绝着的，都不扎当的。但第二星期个，但第二期着呢，我们为了当年的绝对没法儿，因为对面一把的绝对，他当年绝着的，绝用的一把的嘛，绝把它绝用嘛的，这个。인버디 기자 마시비 돈이 죄해 버려요. 제산다 죄 버려. 이내 돈이 그런 죄도 매 버려. 어디 집어 용서를 해서 되겠다. 다 식대 집어 도대비를 분부이 뒤 돈을 대 버려. 분부 인버디 군서 대 버려. 어디는 신다다 돈이 뒤 돈을 대 버려. 죄도 매 버려 돈을 대 버려. 아니 죄 인버디 군서 대 버려.
So there's an explanation, there'll be more explanation on this later on, but just to say a few words with regard to this. So from the point of view of the Tantrika school, the Sutra school, they say that vase is beyond expression, it's expressionless, it cannot be expressed in other words. But so it's expressionless, but we can still talk of it, we can still express it by saying being vase, being vase. So likewise, in the Madhyamika school, emptiness is said to be expressionless or beyond expression, but we can still express it in the sense by saying not being truly existent. So even though, as in the Sutra school, so in the Sutra school, they say that Vas is an ultimate truth, whereas being Vas is a conventional truth. So ultimate truth, and ultimate truth, since Vas is an ultimate truth, it is beyond expression. Expressionless, or a better word is beyond expression. But it can still be expressed by way of saying being Vas. So using a conventional truth, therefore one expresses being Vas. Or one expresses the Vas by saying being Vas. In the Madhyamika school, in the Madhyamika system, emptiness is an ultimate truth. Being emptiness is a conventional truth. So emptiness itself is beyond expression, but then we can still express emptiness by using a conventional truth, in other words, by saying being empty of inherent existence, or being not truly existent. So therefore when we say not truly existent, well then we're meditating, when we take that to mind, not truly existent, we're meditating on that which we express, not truly existent. So that means that we're not actually expressing, we're not actually taking to mind that which is beyond expression. And this is also what the earlier Tibetan scholars would say, that that's what we're not taking to mind then.
Shime botoni dana chudume ba chagme dus chira mo tuba yila ne chebe de chena chudume ba se de tata chagres chesana chumne de ye phage kapchi le ya chide tadan denam sim ya shidi le ma sung chide tayor bes condition ro chirubachi le shidi le ma sung de ta chudume ba de tembares authenticity de do.
So when we talk about a lack of inherent existence, therefore emptiness, that is something you can express, so that's not beyond expression. They would say it's not beyond expression, so saying it is not inherently existent or lacks inherent existence. But what is expressionless is that kind of mere nothingness, or not taking anything to mind. That is really expressionless. So this is where that explanation comes from. And they base this also on the fact that when the Buddha was asked whether this world had any limit, he stayed quiet. He stayed quiet, he didn't respond, he didn't give any answer.
아니 시르베기 다당데 제바 있는데 아니 산제 탐지 제바 레민도 디와데 당도 렌자 투르스 레고 시르베기 다 산제 레마죠와 다 시르베 견지 진행도 저기 나벌 견지 진행도 저기 아니 산제 탐지 제바 레민도 렌자 투르도 시가 다 단다 지야메 디징도 저기 다 디지야메 바테데 레고다 돼.
So therefore the non-Buddhists, upon hearing about this, that the Buddha didn't give any response when he was asked about the limit of this world, they said that therefore the Buddha is not a mission, because he wasn't able to answer. So they interpret this fact that he didn't give any answer to mean that that the Buddha is not a mission. Whereas from the point of view of those who hold the expressionless to mean, or that which is beyond expression, which holds that no mental activity is really that which is beyond expression, they take the same situation as their source text for citing a reason for that being correct.
Digi tone ne dile lema jaba digi ne sanje de tamche chemba yimba ne phage ishinye gi des this one.
So, according to Nagarjuna's explanation, however, with regard to this situation, Nagarjuna explained that if the Buddha had said there is a limit to this world, that would have harmed the person who asked the question. If he had said there is no limit to this world, again, it would have harmed the person. So therefore, out of his great compassion and because of his because of the Buddha's omniscience, therefore the Buddha didn't respond at all. So this means that Nagarjuna gave this as a reason for saying that the Buddha is omniscient, because knowing it would harm the person, the Buddha remained silent.
제가 고모주주기 치디 디어 디치 디들 사비치 네민조라 미송아스 네고 힘바라마 송아 디인자 담지 참바시 디송인자 롱디 제도메바 지에일메지 콩을 조마라 디터나 네민 세지비 우마라 제도메비 기지시는 네다 대바다 미데마 니가라 마체가지 거라 다다 고모주주기 네마 힘바라마 송아스 송도 지사 디지에일메지 콩을 조마라
So there's also Nagarjuna, there's this quote where he basically says that the Buddha didn't give any answers or didn't speak about that because this person was not a vessel. So not being a vessel, therefore the Buddha didn't respond. But using that as a source text for saying there's no mental activity, saying that the fact that the Buddha remained silent is therefore a kind of a scriptural evidence that there is this meditation on, or that the meditation on no mental activity is necessary. Well, that doesn't work, because that it would mean that this person is a vessel. So the Buddha remaining silent would mean that there is a vessel to which one gives such a response. But here it's very clear that it's not a vessel, it's not an appropriate vessel. So from all sides we're kind of attacking, not engaging in mental activity. So from this side we're attacking it, we're saying it contradicts this, it contradicts that. So from all aspects it seems as if we don't like it, we don't like the absence of mental activity. So let's leave it.